accounting for branches. CA Inter Paper 1 Advanced Accounting in module number 3, chapter number 15, Accounting for Branches. So one of the very important chapters which used to come for exams. So what are the areas to be discussed? So basically, what is a branch? Branch presupposes a head office, which means there is no branch without a head office. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss what are the accounting entries, or what is the accounting in the books of head office, what is the accounting in the books of branch, what is the accounting in the books of head office, what is the accounting in the books of branch. Okay, so for the purpose of accounting, a branch is divided into two types: local branch, foreign branch. So what is a local branch? You all know it's a domestic branch, inland branch, where head office and branch is located in the same country. That is local branch. And you know what is a foreign branch? Head office is located in one country and branch is in another. Okay. Now, for the purpose of accounting, again, this local branch is divided into two: dependent and independent branch. So, what is a dependent branch? എന്താണ് ഒരു dependent branch? Branch which is always dependent on head office. Is that a dependent branch? No. A branch whose accounts are kept by head office. Here the accounts are kept by head office. That is a dependent branch. Dependent branch is a branch whose accounts are kept by head office. So what is independent branch? Independent branch is independent when it comes to accounting. They keeps their own books of accounts. That is an independent branch. Okay, so branches divided into two: local and foreign. Local is divided into two: dependent and independent. For dependent branch, there are two methods of accounting. One is debtors method and the other one is stock and debtors method. So what is debtors method? When the branch is of small size, branch is a small branch. When the branch is of small size, head office follows debtors method and maintains only one branch account in the books of head office. If it is debtors method is normally followed when branches of small size, when there are very less number of transactions, then head office opens a branch account. Head office opens a branch accounts in the one branch account. If there is a Nagpur branch, then Nagpur branch account, Goa branch account, Delhi branch account, Chennai branch account. So one branch account will be opened in the books of head office to record all the transactions and to identify the net profits of branch. Okay. And under stock and debtors method, when the transactions are more in number, that is a bigger size of branch, head office follows stock and debtors method and open various ledger accounts in the books of head office. Okay, fine. Now, let's first discuss dependent branch, debtors method, stock and debtors method, maximum in a crisp format, and then we'll move on to independent branch. So, debtors method. Under debtors method, we need to open branch account. So, what are the, in branch account, what all items should be recorded? See, in branch account, maximum you need to record 1, 2, 3 and 4 set of items. Starting with branch account, if it is Goa branch account should start with opening balance, to balance brought down. Branch account is like an investment for head office. It's like an investment. So to balance brought down. Opening assets. What are the opening assets of branch? Because it's like an investment by head office. how much is opening stock? Opening stock, okay. Debtors, various assets, furniture, vehicle, if you have any assets invested for branch, petty cash. Generally, these are the assets that comes in the usually a branch have. So stock, debtors, assets. Okay. Now with regard to stock, generally head office sends goods to branch. Stock of the branch means generally the balance of goods or the leftover of goods which is sent by head office to branch. Head office branchിലേക്ക് അയച്ച സെൻഡ് ചെയ്ത ഗുഡ്സിന്റെ ബാലൻസ് ആയിരിക്കും സ്റ്റോക്ക് ആയിട്ടുണ്ടാവുക. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഹെഡ് ഓഫീസ് sometimes send goods to branch either at cost or at cost plus profit percentage, cost plus profit percentage. If that is the case, stock of branch is inflated with the profit element. Yes or no? If 100 rupees is the cost, if transferred at 125%, the stock of the branch will be at 125%. If that is the case, eliminate stock reserve by passing the entry by opening stock reserve. By opening stock reserve. So here, if the stock is at 125, you record 25 here. Eliminate 25. Okay. Now, goods sent to goods sent, branch to goods sent from head office. Goods sent from head office. If goods sent from head office to goods sent, by goods returned, and if the goods is sent at 125%, eliminate what we call it as loading. We eliminate loading 25% of the net goods sent. It's okay if you eliminate to loading of this goods transferred from HO to branch and then to goods sent. To eliminate loading of goods returned. Instead, what you may do is, what I suggest is what to do, to goods sent at 125%, by goods sent, okay, that is also at returned is also at 125% of that net goods transferred from HO to branch. You eliminate the loading. Okay, so opening stock, eliminate loading. Second set, goods sent, that is also if it is at invoice price, eliminate loading. Then to cash sent by head office. Cash sent by head office. Why cash is sent by head office? To meet the expenses of branch. This is basically to meet expenses of branch. So we pass branch, head office will be passing the entry branch to cash. Branch to cash. And if cash is remitted by branch, then it is cash to branch. Returned. Cash is received by head office to branch. And by cash is basically out of, from where this branch gets cash? Cash sales and collection from debtors. Cash sales and collection from debtors. And closing balances. Let me revise once more. Only 4 set of entries will be recorded in the books of head office with regard to branch account. Opening assets and liabilities. If opening assets include stock which is received by branch at invoice price, eliminate loading. Then to goods sent by head office to branch and returns. Cash sent by head office to branch and cash received and closing balances. Now, will this account tally if I do this closing balances? No, this account will not tally. You should do the balancing figure. You should take the balance and the balance figure will give you net profit or net loss to be transferred to HOP&L, general P&L. So what is the concept? How this gives net profits? See, basically it is nothing. Like this debit side represents what you have given for the branch. And credit side represents what you received from branch. So if I received more from branch compared to what I have given, it gives a net profit which is to be transferred to general P&L. Otherwise, it's a net loss. Okay. Now, maximum what you can get for exam is, question says there is a manager's commission, manager's commission on the net profits of branch. Then we'll record to manager's commission also. Then we record manager's commission. How do I calculate manager's commission? First, you calculate the net profits. And what is given with regard to manager's commission? Percentage on net profits after charging such commission, or percentage on net profits before charging such commission, that will be mentioned. So, if it is before, then net profits into rate. After charging such commission, then net profits into net profit before commission into rate by 100 plus rate. Then we'll find out the net profits. So now we are discussing the additional adjustments that can come in a branch question. When goods transferred by branch customers directly to head office. Sometimes the question says goods are transferred by branch customers directly to head office. Treat like goods returned by branch to head office. Yeah, correct. Branch head office na goods transfer ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് പകരം branch customer transfer to head office, it is as good as branch transfer to head office. Okay. Then when cash paid directly by branch customers to HO, same, treat like cash remitted by branch. Accounting treatment of goods sent to another branch. See, if one branch has transferred goods to another branch, treat like goods returned to head office and goods received from head office. Branch A transferred goods to branch B. It is like branch A transferred goods to HO. And from branch B's point of view, goods received from head office, HO. So inter-branch transactions, one branch to another branch, from the branch point of view, it is like the transaction with HO. So goods returned to HO and goods received from HO. Now, if the question says abnormal loss, if there is an abnormal loss of stock, question gives you abnormal loss of stock, it should not be adjusted in branch account. If there is abnormal loss of goods, abnormal loss of stock, whether it should reflect in branch account? No, it should not reflect in branch account. That information is given to find out the closing stock. See, in branch account, we need closing stock. By balance, carry down, we need closing stock. So if there is closing stock, we need to find out if closing stock is a missing information and we need to find out closing stock, then we use that abnormal loss information. Otherwise, abnormal loss will not reflect in branch account. So this is the entry you will pass in the stock account to find the closing stock. If you need to find closing stock, I'll pass abnormal loss. Then manager's commission we have already discussed, and in most of the questions branch debtors account, debtors closing balance will be missing. You need to find out debtors. So these are the adjustments that used to come in branch account. Otherwise branch account or debtors method is super easy. So that's with regard to debtors method. I hope it is okay. Local branch, dependent branch, debtors method. If it is debtors method, I need to study the format. 4 sets of journal entries will come. Opening balance of assets and liabilities. If opening stock is at invoice price, buy stock reserve. To goods sent, buy goods sent. If goods sent is also at invoice price, remove loading. To cash, buy cash. To cash means what are the expenses spent by head office to branch, that is to cash. Buy cash is cash sales, collection from debtors, minus any expenses spent by, if any branch spends any expense, that will deduct. Whatever cash received by branch has to be remitted to HO. Then closing balances, and in closing balance also, if there is closing stock, I need to eliminate stock reserve. Then we'll balance. If there is manager's commission, I'll write manager's commission also. Then we'll balance the whole thing, and we'll get net profit to be transferred to general P&L or HOP&L, or by net loss to be transferred to HOP&L. I hope that part is clear. That is with regard to debtors method. Super easy, ഭയങ്കര easy ആണ്. Now stock and debtors method. Now with regard to stock and debtors method, we need to open ledger accounts. Sometimes same information will be given. Using the same information, you need to prepare various accounts. So what are the accounts to be opened, and what are the adjustments that comes in stock and debtors method? So if it is a stock and debtors method, guys, please give some importance to this. If it is stock and debtors method, usually one of the main accounts to be opened is branch stock account. Branch stock. And here I am discussing the adjustment. Opening balance. To balance brought down at invoice price. Don't convert it to cost. Transfer at invoice price. To goods sent at invoice price. Branch stock to goods sent. Branch stock has increased. Branch stock balance has increased. By goods sent, goods returned at invoice price. Now stock, opening stock was there, stock received, there can be stock returns. Now the next important one is sales. What is the journal entry for sales? Journal entry, never write by sales, by cash sales, by credit sales, don't write. If it is cash sales, journal entry should be branch cash to branch stock. Cash sales entry is branch cash to branch stock. Branch cash to branch stock. Branch cash increased to branch stock. If that cash is to be immediately remitted to HO, I can also do by bank. It's okay if the initial paragraph of a question says cash is to be immediately remitted to HO, you can write bank to stock, branch stock. Okay, now by branch debtors for credit sales. Now, if there is a sales returns given, always assume it is credit sales returns or reverse the entry. Sales return was what happens? Branch stock increases to branch debtors. Stock increases, debtors reduces. Okay, fine. So, to balance brought down, to goods sent by goods sent. Goods sent transferred, by goods sent is returns. Sales returns. Now balance carry down. Closing stock. But before that, in most of the questions, or there can be an adjustment on normal loss. If my question says there is normal loss, if there is normal loss, you have two options. If information says normal loss, you have two options. First option is ignore normal loss. Ignore. The second one, normal loss need not hit any account, or the second option which I recommend, because institute in the suggested answers they have followed this entry. If there is normal loss, my entry will be branch adjustment to branch stock. Entry is branch adjustment to stock will reduce, branch adjustment at invoice price and full invoice price. Branch adjustment to branch stock. Okay, branch adjustment to branch stock. Understood. If there is normal loss, branch adjustment to branch stock. Okay, fine. At invoice price. Now, if there is abnormal loss of stock, shortage of stock, goods pilfered, goods missing, there is loss by fire. If there is abnormal loss, the journal entry should be branch adjustment with loading and branch P&L with cost to branch stock at invoice price. Branch adjustment with loading, branch P&L with cost. Why branch P&L at cost? See, if I manufacture this pen, I am manufacturing this pen and the cost of this pen is 8 rupees and I'm planning to sell at rupees 15 and I lost this pen. I initially planned to sell this at 15 but I lost. How much is my actual loss? My actual loss is only 8. The rest was my dream to sell it at a higher price. That was not my actual loss. So that 7 rupees loading should be transferred to branch adjustment account. That is what? By branch adjustment account with the normal loss. Then branch adjustment, profit element and branch P&L cost portion. These are the maximum entries that can come. So I recorded everything, balance it. If there is a surplus from stock, what do you mean by surplus from stock? Branch sold at a price more than the invoice price. Branch sold the stock at a price more than the invoice price. Then if there is a surplus, that will be transferred to branch adjustment account. Guys, you please try to memorize. I'm not trying to by heart because by heart will not work. But I'm trying to see in exam, if I get an 8 marks question, I need to memorize a lot of points. So I'm just giving you, you should understand the concept, why debit, why credit, why this journal entry, that you would have done in the regular class. In the revision class, I'm just trying to make you memorize certain points. So in branch stock, opening balance will be there, goods received, goods will increase stock, so debit. Buy goods if there is return. Buy branch cash or branch debtors if there is sales. Sales returns, of course, reverse. Now, if there is normal loss or abnormal loss, what are the entries you need to study? Then closing balance, by balance carry down, balance it now. And if there is a gain or a loss, transfer to branch adjustment account. Transfer to branch adjustment account. Okay, agreed. Now what will come in branch adjustment account? Branch adjustment. Next account, branch adjustment account. So only after preparing branch stock account, open branch adjustment account. What will come in my branch adjustment account? One second. What will be there in branch adjustment? Branch adjustment account. So in branch adjustment account, we start with opening stock reserve. We start with opening stock reserve. That is, if 100 rupees stock is at 125, in branch account we directly do by opening stock reserve, but here we do that elimination of stock reserve in adjustment account by opening stock reserve. So again, the concept is, we believe that on the opening stock there was a profit element that would have realized in the current year. Opening stock, there is a profit element that would have realized in the current year. Goods sent, there is a loading that would have realized in the current year. Then branch have earned a profit by selling at a price higher than invoice price. അവിടെ profit earn ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. But there was normal loss, there is abnormal loss loading I need to eliminate, and there is closing stock reserve which I'll be realizing only in the next year. Opening stock reserve I would have realized in the current year because opening stock would have sold in the current year. Goods sent, on goods sent there is a profit element. Branch stock surplus, if there is any. If a question says surplus, take it to branch stock account. Branch stock to branch adjustment. Now normal loss, abnormal loss I need to eliminate. And closing stock reserve, these are my dreams to realize, but some goods are remaining as closing stock, so eliminate closing stock reserve. Balance it and you will get the gross profit earned in the current year. You will get the gross profit earned in the current year. So that is the importance of branch adjustment account. Okay. Now branch debtors account. Branch debtors account is very much okay. I believe it is okay for all of you. Branch debtors account starts with, to balance brought down, of course, debtors receivables. Again, it is receivables, debtors to branch stock, credit sales, branch debtors to branch stock for credit sales. If there is returns, reverse entry. Now, if there is bad debts, discount bad debts to debtors, discount to debtors, but we'll write it as by by P&L. So balance carried. These are the items that will come in branch debtors accounts. Very easy. And finally, branch P&L. So what is there in branch P&L which I have not written? What is there in branch P&L? It will start with by branch adjustment account. Okay, assuming it is a profit, so by branch adjustment account, then generally to branch expenses. Branch expenses, salary, rent, all branch expenses to cash, P&L to branch expense, to branch debtors. Branch debtors, in debtors account we have passed by branch P&L, so branch debtors. So finally we'll get net profits to be transferred to general P&L. Stock and debtors method, do open. So under stock and debtors method, these are the accounts to be opened, and these are the adjustments that normally comes. This is very easy. Stock and debtors method. Stock and debtors method. Okay, stock and debtors method. Fine. So where are we? We are standing in local branch, dependent, debtors and stock and debtors. Now we'll move on to independent branch. We are moving on to independent branch. Branch maintains on books of accounts. Branch maintain on books. Branch maintain on books. So in the books of head office, head office spends a lot of money for branch. Yes or no? Whether it is independent, dependent, head office spends a lot of money for branch. So whatever spent by head office, it will be debited to branch account. In the books of head office, branch account will always have what balance? Debit balance. Um, in the books of head office, branch account will always have a debit balance. Branch account will always have a debit balance. And in the books of branch, branch is the recipient of all the services. Branch is the recipient of all the investments made by head office. So same concept of a proprietorship, receiving funds from proprietor, capital. So cash to capital. Everything will be transferred to capital. Benefits, profits will be transferred to capital. So same concept. So branch will credit head office, and head office account will be always having a credit balance. Head office account will always have a credit balance, and these two accounts tally. These two accounts should tally. So we are talking about independent branches. In the books of head office, branch account will always have a debit balance, and in the books of branch, head office will always have a credit balance, and it should tally. So the exam questions will be like, it will not tally, and they will give you some adjustments. So you need to pass the journal entries. Some entries in the books of head office you need to pass. Some entries in the books of branch you need to pass. And finally, it will tally. Okay, that is the kind of questions normally we are getting. So accounting for independent branches, four main adjustments that used to come is what we are going to discuss now. Accounting for fixed assets. Accounting for fixed assets. If fixed assets accounts are maintained by branch, if asset accounts are maintained by branch, On purchase of asset by head office is buying asset for us. Then what will be the entry? Like partners introduced asset or partners brought in assets to the firm. That asset to partners capital, right? Similarly, same concept. I mean, if proprietor is bringing an asset to proprietorship firm, asset to capital. Similarly, here entry will be asset to head office. In the books of branch. Now, in the books of head office is buying an asset for the branch. From the head office perspective, it is like an investment. So, I'll not write investment to cash, but I'll write branch to cash. Correct. Branch to cash. Now, on purchase by branch bought assets for branch. Then entry will be asset to HO, no? No, asset to, I'm not liable to HO because I bought it for by myself. So, asset to cash. What is the entry in the books of head office? No entry. Why should head office pass journal entry for this? Why should head office pass journal entry for this? Yes or no? Endina entry pass in a head office? Because asset bought by branch, by it's on cash. No entry. On providing depreciation, asset in the books of branch, depreciation to be provided by branch, so entry will be depreciation to asset. Depreciation to asset. Again, no branch asset in our books, in the books of head office. So branch charging depreciation for branch asset, no entry in the books of head office. We need to study this. Take some effort, invest time and study this. If accounts are maintained at head office maintains accounts. If accounts are maintained at head office, which means you maintain all the other accounts, but fixed assets, head office is maintaining. Then asset purchased by head office. In the books of branch accountant nokumbo asset account is in the books of head office. Cash also spent by head office. So no entry. Branch assets are maintained by head office. So in the books of head office, the entry will be branch asset to cash. So here it was, here it was branch to cash. Here specifically we on the we maintained asset account, so branch asset to cash. Here on purchase by branch purchased assets for its on use. Now in the books of branch, I cannot debit asset because asset account is maintained by head office. So here entry will be, I'm not maintaining asset, therefore head office to cash. And here branch assets should increase, branch assets to branch. Okay, on providing depreciation, it should be depreciation to asset, but asset is not maintained by us. So depreciation to HO. Here branch asset balance should reduce, but depreciation is an expense of branch. Depreciation should come in branch books. So here I will debit branch to branch assets. Branch to branch assets will be the entry. So I need to take some effort and study this. You would have covered it in detail, understood the concept behind debiting, crediting. I hope that's okay. Now this is just from a revision point of view. I am discussing this journal entries. Now very important inter-branch transactions which we discussed before, but still branch A transferred goods to branch B. What is the entry in the books of branch A? Branch A transferred goods of say 5 lakhs. Then my entry should have been branch B to goods or cash. If I am giving cash, cash. But I will not debit branch B. Inter-branch transactions are assumed as transaction between branch and head office. So branch A transferred to branch B. In the books of branch A, it's like HO, transferred to HO. And in the books of branch B, goods debit, cash received if it's debited to head office. Now in the books of head office, it's like branch A transferred goods to branch B. Branch A transferred goods to branch B. Now it is the HO is like an intermediary. Collect 5 lakhs from branch B and give to branch A. So the entry will be branch B to branch A, which means I need to study like this. Receiving branch is debited and supplying branch is credited. Why receiving branch is debited? Because receiving branch received something, so now it is to be returned by them and transfer it back. Receiving branch is debited because now goods are sent by branch A to branch B, means B is owing to branch A. So collect it from branch B and transfer to branch A. So branch B to branch A will be the journal entry. Okay. Now, accounting for HO expenses to be charged to branch. Accounting for HO expenses to be charged to branch. Accounting for HO expenses to be charged to branch in the books of branch. So, what is this area? Like, head office has spent some expense for the branch, or head office has done some services to the branch. Now, year end, that expense is allocated to branch. So, in the books of head office, if there is 5 lakhs rupees salaries, year end I realized of which 50,000 is the salary of branch. And only 4,50,000 is the salaries of head office. But now my salary account is showing 5 lakhs. So what will be the entry in the books of head office? Head office expense is not 5 lakhs. It is only 4,50,000. So what entry you will pass? Branch to salaries, because it is recoverable from branch. Or branch to P&L. If it is like your income, you provided some service and it is your income, branch to P&L. Or reduce that expenses account. Yeah, understood. Or in the books of branch, what will be the entry? Expenses. Like you did depreciation to HO, same concept. Expenses to head office. Same as the concept for income, just reverse. HO to income, income to branch will be the journal entries. If it is income, just I need to think. Head office has received an income of 10 lakhs. So the head office would have passed the entry bank to income. Now I realize 2 lakhs is the income of branch. So there is, it's like a rectification, correction. 10 lakhs is not my income, only 2 lakhs is my income. What will be the entry in the books of head office? Of course, income is to be debited or P&L is to be debited to branch because it is payable to branch. And in the books of branch, the entry will be from HO it is receivable and my income. And the last, goods in transit, cash in transit. So head office send goods to branch. If head office sends goods to branch, head office send goods to branch, say for worth 5 lakhs. Head office would have passed the journal entry, but it is in transit for the branch. So what is the entry to be passed in the books of branch? Goods in transit or cash in transit to head office. So always the sender would have passed the journal entry. Only recipient should pass the entry. Recipient should pass the entry, goods in transit. If branch is the recipient of goods or cash, then goods in transit, cash in transit to HO. If HO is the recipient, then goods in transit or cash in transit to branch. Sometimes the question will be like this. Pass journal entry in the books of branch. If branch send the goods of 5 lakhs to head office, now no need to pass journal entry in the books of branch because branch already send it, which means entry would have already passed in the books of branch. Only head office needs to pass the journal entry. So who's the recipient or receiver? They have not received it. So journal entry is to be passed only in the books of that recipient or receiver. So these are the common adjustments that used to come of independent branch. So we used to get questions on trading P&L balance sheet where there are some adjusting entries. Prepare balance sheet. So now, so we have done or we have discussed dependent branch, debtors method, stock and debtors method, independent branch. Journal entries in the books of HON branch is also done. Now trading P&L account of head office and branch. See, if you get a question on trading P&L account of head office and branch, see, trust me, in most of the question, closing stock will be missing. Closing stock will be missing. We need to find closing stock, and you should prepare P&L balance sheet like this: head office, branch and total column. You need to provide this 3 columns and then prepare this financial statements. But I think we'll try a question and discuss this. So shall we try a question from the study material and do this? So let's discuss a question.